Why family medicine? It's a question I get asked not infrequently by friends, acquaintances, and even some of my patients. But I think before I answer the why family medicine question, I should probably answer why medicine in general. You see, I didn't grow up thinking that I always wanted to be a physician. I didn't have a physician in my family. Heck, I don't even remember hardly ever going to the doctor. In fact, going off to college, I actually thought I might do something in business administration or maybe in technology. When I went off to college, that was right around the time that computers were starting to grow in popularity. The internet was taking off. It was becoming more and more popular. I had a family member who was doing some computer repair work, and that really seemed to interest me, although it was new enough, so I really wasn't sure how I was going to make a living at it. And then I also had a huge interest in the sciences. And so I actually started my first year of college not really knowing what I wanted to be. Started taking a lot of general education courses, got a lot of the just graduation requirements out of the way. And as I progressed through that first year, I started to think, how could I combine all three of these together? And medicine actually seemed like a natural fit. That was about the time that computerized medical record systems were starting to come into being, and definitely get some of the business aspect in medicine, running a practice, and of course I would get the sciences. So in my sophomore year, I actually got in touch with a counselor who could direct me down the pre-med path. Started taking all the right courses, realized what I had to do to get into medical school. So obviously I got into medical school, but again, starting medical school, wasn't exactly sure what type of doctor I wanted to be. Knew I wanted to be a physician, but didn't really know exactly what type of physician I wanted to be. I actually went into medical school thinking I wanted to be a pediatrician. And then as I got into my third year of medical school, which is in my medical school where you start doing your clinicals, I had a pediatric rotation and pretty quickly realized that I probably didn't want to be a pediatrician. While I love kids, love babies, I got called to the infants and toddler units one too many time at 3 o'clock in the morning to deal with a screaming 3-year-old. That kind of helped me figure out that I probably wasn't cut out to be a pediatrician. Still love kids, still want to take care of kids, but there had to be a different way that I could do it where I didn't do that all day long, every day. I also ruled out pretty quickly some of the specialties, the surgical areas. Honestly, I couldn't see myself getting up that early in the morning to be a surgeon, and I really didn't like the monotony that I'd seen in the specialties where you essentially do the same thing over and over again, or you deal with the same disease over and over again. Don't get me wrong, I love specialists. I love working with specialists, and I'm thankful there are people who like to be super good at one thing, but that just wasn't necessarily what I was looking for. I about OB for a little while. Ruled that one out though, because again, I like my sleep. Didn't want to get up at 3 in the morning to go deliver a baby. And that kind of took me to family medicine. And I did my family medicine rotation and really started to like what I saw. I liked the variety of different patients they saw. I liked the fact that I could still see kids, because again, still like kids, but that wasn't everything that I did all day long. Every time you open the door as a family medicine physician, it's something different. Even if you're seeing the same disease state, maybe you're seeing another diabetic, chances are there's going to be something else that comes along with it, and it's going to be just a little bit different than the last person. Maybe it's going to have diabetes, but there's also going to be some depression, or maybe there's diabetes, but there's also some back pain. There's a lot of variability, and that really intrigued me. Really liked the idea of seeing different things. But honestly, the thing that really attracted me to family medicine, and still to this day, 20 years later, attracts me to family medicine, is the relationships that I get to build. I've embodied the true family part of family medicine. What I mean is I have several families that I take care of where I literally take care of 5 generations. And I just absolutely love that. I get to know the entire family. I get to know the extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins. And not only is that interesting to me, it also really helps me take better care of everybody, because I understand the dynamics that are going on in my patients' lives. I understand that one member of the family may be struggling, and so that's affecting the health of other members of the family. And it really gives me that extra insight that you don't get in other specialties. Not to mention, I get to take care of those patients over time. Kids that I saw as babies in residency are now grown up and bringing me their babies, and that's really special to me. A lot of the patients that I started taking care of as teens or young adults are now aging as well, and in all the unique aspects of their lives that come with that, going to college, getting jobs, and I've been able to be a part of that in a small way, but hopefully in a meaningful way. I know it's been meaningful to me, and I really enjoy those relationships that I get to build. I enjoy, most of my visits with patients are not just all about medicine. Yeah, we have to take care of their diseases or take care of what's wrong with them, but I usually try to spend at least some time of the visit, finding out what's going on in their life, what's going on in their grandkids' lives. One of the things that I really enjoy is learning about what other people do for a living. I know what I do for a living, and I know there's people that are interested in what I do for a living, or frankly, I wouldn't be making this video, or you wouldn't be watching it. But there's also that aspect for me where I really enjoy learning what other people do for a living, and the stories that they have to share, and the nuances of what they do, how they do it. I have a lot of patients who are missionaries. I get to hear stories of travel from all over the world. And I look forward to those visits because I look forward to developing that relationship with patients, and they feel comfortable with me, confiding in me, telling me things that, they probably haven't told anybody else. And I take that part of my job very seriously. It comes with a lot of responsibility, but it also comes with a lot of joy knowing that I can be there for that person in their time of need, or I can share in their happiness. So I really enjoy that part of family medicine. I also, as a family medicine physician, we get to do, really, you can make it whatever you want to make it. You can see babies, you can not see babies, you can see kids, you can not see kids. You can do some procedures if you want. I like to do minor procedures. I cut off skin tags or do some mole removal, toenails. It's nice, again, to have a little bit of that in my practice. It's not something I necessarily want to do all day, every day, but the variability really kind of keeps me energized in what I do, and I really enjoy going to work every day. I'll never forget, I had an attending my third year of medical school who were walking around the Veterans Administration Hospital in Little Rock, Arkansas, and he's a very stoic, older gentleman, and all of a sudden he stops in the middle of rounds, turns around, looks at us, and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever quit having fun in medicine, get out before you kill somebody." And I've really tried to take that to heart. I've really tried to enjoy every day. Yeah, medicine's not always fun. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to deliver bad news. Fortunately, sometimes we have to say, "I don't know." There's probably nothing more frustrating to both a physician as well as a patient to say, "I don't know. I don't know how to fix this." Usually that's followed with, "But we'll keep trying," or "We'll keep looking." But it's extremely frustrating. Even with that, you can still find some joy in knowing that you're trying to figure it out, or that you're walking side by side that patient until you do figure out what's going on. And I've really tried to hold to that advice of always have fun. We joke around, kid with patients, but don't get me wrong, there's a serious side to medicine, and I take that aspect of medicine very seriously too. You have to read the patient, you have to read the situation to know what it calls for, and a lot of times it calls for being very serious, very somber, to help that person through whatever they're dealing with, or whatever bad news that you just gave them. If you just told somebody they have cancer or something like that, you have to take that seriously, because it's a very serious situation. The patient is scared, they don't know what's next. But knowing that you can be there and comfort them through it also provides some satisfaction in the job that you're doing. And and of course, with getting to know people longitudinally over time, if I have a patient that passes away, it's going to affect me. I'm going to be down, or I'm going to be sad. I'm going to rejoice in knowing that I was able to be hopefully a positive part of that patient's life. But just like when somebody else loses a loved one, when I lose a patient, it's hurt. It's something that I grieve right along with the patient's families. Maybe not to that same level, obviously, but it still affects me, and I'm sure it affects all of us as physicians, because none of us want to lose a patient. We know it happens, we know it's part of life, but it doesn't make it any easier. I also, one of the questions that we get asked fairly frequently is, would you do it over again? There's a lot in the media, there's a lot on social media about being a physician and the respect that physicians may or may not give now that everybody can, Google everything and be a Dr. Google. But I still think, all those years ago, I made the right choice. I think I would do it over again, even with all the struggles that they don't tell you about in college or med school of, the regulations and the rules and somebody always looking over your shoulder to make sure you're doing a good job. Unfortunately, some of the patients don't get along with you. They don't like what you're doing. So you're going to be insulted by a patient. You're going to be told you're a terrible doctor. And that just comes with it. I used to get really bothered by that early on in my career because I wanted to please everybody. I wanted to be the right physician for everybody. But I've come to realize over time that that's just not true. I may not be the right physician for everybody, especially as a family physician, because just as important as my knowledge of medicine is to their care, my ability to develop a relationship with that patient is important too. And if for some reason we don't see eye to eye, then I truly want that patient to get the best care they can get. And that best care may not come from me. And it may simply be because of the relationship that we struggle to build. And I've grown to be okay with that. And I think that's okay. I feel like I'm a good physician, but I'm not the right physician for every person out there. I hope I'm the right physician for most, and to those patients who have entrusted their care with me, I hope that they've felt that way over the weeks, months, or years that I've been able to take care of them. So definitely, if I had to do it over again, I would do it over again, and definitely I would pick family medicine again. I truly enjoy it. For all the reasons I've said, I enjoy the variety. I enjoy the relationship building. I enjoy, frankly, getting to go to work every day and getting to do what I do. I realize not everybody can do what I do. I realize not everybody has the opportunities to do what I do, and I don't take that for granted. I'm very aware of the responsibilities that I hold as a physician, and I take them very seriously. But I can honestly say that I enjoy it, and I would do it again. And that's why I love being a family medicine physician. So I hope this explains a little bit of what it's like to be a family medicine physician, why I chose family medicine, why I chose medicine in general. So if you have any questions or comments, any questions about becoming a physician, becoming a family physician, or even being a patient of a family physician, please leave me a message in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer it. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please hit the subscribe button and the like button if you want to catch more of these. Otherwise, be safe out there.